Good morning to everybody. Oh, I can't find it because it's right here. Good morning, everybody. I am having an awesome day. Hopefully, everybody is too. And yesterday, I was totally put out of commission after one glass of Prosecco. It was crazy. Good morning. Good morning. So now, I kind of like those times when we are able to fast and rest and sleep, because it really, what is that word? It really rests your mind, gives your mind an opportunity to think. Thank you. People in the street, so funny. So I noticed that a lot of people, good morning. I noticed a lot of people, there's a question that goes around, it's posed to our community that says, why is it that our relationships do not last the same way our grandparents' relationships lasted? All right, it's like a normal sort of question. I actually know the answer to that question, but it's a long, convoluted answer. And I don't actually offer that until people are ready to listen. So there's that. Now, also, I have a theory about the movie The Color Purple. I was recently told by someone that a lot of other people do not watch a lot of television, and that television is actually geared towards us, black people. Ooh, lashes and weaves. Good God, it's taking over. What a nightmare. I have this theory about The Color Purple. I actually had the opportunity to go to what's that place? The Kennedy Center, and see The Color Purple. I got to sit in a very important place, and it was really, really cool. It was really cool. There was a gentleman. There were me and the person who took me, because we were in like a box seating. It was me, that person, another black couple, two other black women, because people went in pairs, and then there was a white man and a white woman. The white man just said that he never saw The Color Purple. So as we were having conversations about the movie, the man thought me seeing the movie, the play, and the interpretation in the play version really allowed me to what's the word I'm looking for? Extract different perspectives than when I saw the movie. Because I have read the book, I have seen the movie, and now I have seen the play, and all of them are very different. With the same set of facts, but very different. So the gentleman, the white guy, was just like, he had never, as I'm kind of going over some points in the movie, he was like, "Are you a professor?" I was like, "No." I cut hair. He was just like, "Wow, what else am I missing in this movie? I don't, I didn't catch that." I was like, "Yeah, it's just a movie that everybody has seen." I was like, if you're black, you've already seen this movie. Because he said he had never heard of it. He just came as an escort for the woman who was here. I watched the movie. He's like, it's a very interesting movie. And a couple of things, like I say, resonated with me. The fact that he had never seen the movie. The fact that he had never heard the movie. And to me, that was interesting because I hardly know people who have not seen this movie. I barely know anybody who has not seen The Color Purple. And if they do, they kind of be quiet and be like, Don't take my black card, but I've never seen The Color Purple. Right? So The Color Purple is so dysfunctional. It's so many points of dysfunction: abuse, incest, homosexuality. I mean, just child marriages, and there's so much going on in that movie that. And I saw it when I was like, I think 8. Like, I was very young when I saw The Color Purple. So it took me years and decades to understand some of the storylines that were going on in The Color Purple. So at this point, I'm sitting here thinking, all right, everybody's grandmother was not Celie. Everybody's grandmother was not Nettie and Celie or Suge, or, there are so many families who have function, grace. Not that we all don't have like levels of whatever in our family, but like many women were not getting beat by Mr. Were not raped and child brides. Like that's just not that just wasn't the norm. And we need to stop. Like, how are people saying that that's the norm? I'm convinced it's the television. I'm seriously convinced that the television is telling people that their story was something that it wasn't. Now, if your true family history is that someone got beat, you have to understand that wasn't everybody on the block. Everybody on the block was not getting beat. Out of, several families, maybe there was one abusive family, but that kind of stands to reason right now. That's the same as it is today. So to use, these mythical stories as the reason as to why our grandparents had lasting relationships and we don't, it means that we're not really, I don't think we're really examining society. We're not really examining society. When I watched The Color Purple, I realized a few things. Celie was put in the role of protector of her sister. Celie was put in the role of protector of her sister. That is why Nettie was free to think she had freedom. Celie stood in between her stepfather molesting her sister and took all of the brunt of that burden on herself. Okay? Then we realized that Celie also was to stand between her husband trying to hurt and sexually assault her sister. If we remember the movie, we remember that Nettie had a positive mind. She had the option because she was protected. She had the option because she was protected. Nettie was educated. She had the option because she was protected. Nettie was world traveled. She had the option because she was protected. But we see what happens to the woman when you make the woman the protector. Celie was made into be a mule because she never received protection. As a woman, she was abused, she was hurt. She then, instead of hurting others, she took all of that hurt that other people gave her and in fact used it to nurture other people. But that's just not that's not normal. That's not a normal situation. And we see that her self-esteem was low, her literacy was low, and they made, like I said, they made a mule of her. Her children were snatched from her, her virtue was snatched from her, her innocence was snatched from her, and yet she still was like this person, right? So she's married to Mr. and to Albert. She's married to Albert, and he continues the abuse that her father basically gave her. and treated her in the most vile way that you could treat a woman, reducing her to her genitals and her domestic abilities. She was not adored. She was not revered. She was not educated. She was not encouraged. She was not treated as a beautiful flower in any respect, in any way. You know, like she took so much penalty just for being, you know. So now when Suge comes along, the idea of someone showing her affection feels correct. The idea of someone, but once again, Suge in a way took advantage of her because, all right, I understand that she took care of Suge when she was sick, but Suge at the end of the day wanted a man. So, you know, these two women are sharing physical and intimate affections due to the lack of masculine protection. Because the minute that Suge got married, oh, I was married now, all that other stuff went out the window. So, I'm saying all this to say that movie, which every person who I know have seen this movie, we're starting to adopt a lot of dysfunctional movies, television shows, and committing them to our memory as though it's fact. It's not. And so now, because we are thinking that this actually happened with regularity, our brains are picking up the couple of stories that when it happened or remnants of these things happening. Now we're like, oh yeah, this must have gone on. The TV made a movie about it. I heard this, you know, story or a couple of isolated incidents about it. This must be the way that we're supposed to be. You know? So now, when I'm in a position and I'm in an environment where I'm learning about being feminine, being a woman, being cared for by men, being adored by men, men taking care of us, men supporting the household, depending on men to provide for the family. What starts to come up is like abusive stories. What starts to come up is that men leave their families every day. What starts to come up is that men are taking advantage of women. What starts to come up is that men are abusing women. And I'm just like, where are y'all getting this from? What is going on? This is not the truth. This is not the truth. To put it in the minds of Black Americans that our men are abusive, that our men are sick, that our men are pedophiles, that our men are, I don't know, what's the word? It's not misogyny. When men hate women, I don't know what that word is, whatever that word is, that men hate women and that, you know, men are here to dominate and hurt us and things like that. Like, where is that coming from? Where is that? That's not the truth for the majority. Yes, it is the truth for a minor amount of people, but that is absolutely not the truth for the majority of us. So where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? Because my experience with men has been ever since I attended wife school. My experience of the Black man has been nothing short of excellent. And I mean, even from emotionally disturbed people. I went to a bar. Me and my girlfriend went Saturday night. On here in DC, in Chinatown, there's a restaurant called Clyde's. And there are a lot of, I guess, homeless people around outside. There's just a lot of homeless people in general. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So we're sitting at the bar, and this gentleman pulls up, sits down, and The bar is actually about to close. He asked for some water, bottled, and he asked for a cup. And he was talking to me. He was looking up. He looked at my hair. He was like, your hair is so beautiful. He was like, I'm just looking at the individual curls. It's blowing my mind. I was just like, thank you so much. He was like, and the mark on your face, it's just like the mark my grandmother had on her face. I'll do anything for my grandmother. Young black guy, had a busted lip, and he was very low beneath me. Like, I'm sitting up at the bar. He's kind of got his head down, but talking up to me, up at me. And he just seemed really mesmerized. And so I was not afraid of this man at all. Not in the least bit. I could tell something was up, but I wasn't scared. It's a bar full of people. Like, what's he about to do? Nothing. Whatever he's doing to me, he's doing it to everybody. So he kept talking. And I would just talk to him. I'd turn, smile, speak with him. I didn't ignore him. I didn't disrespect him. I engaged with him a bit. And I have a coat that's very fuzzy. And my coat, good morning, my coat looks like this. This is what my coat looks like. So, you know, a lot of people like to, a lot of people comment on the coat, say I look like a bear or whatever, puppy, whatever. It's very fluffy. So he began to touch it. He was like, wow, this is so soft. And I was just like, thank you. Thank you so much. He was like, you know, you're really amazing. He was just like, you know what I see about you? Mind you, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if he's out his mind. I don't know if he's high. I don't know what he was. He was like, he said, you have very observant eyes. You may not say much, but you have very observant eyes. I said, thank you. I appreciate that. The bartender comes over and he says, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Do you know him? I was just like, no. And another gentleman came over and was like, are you okay? I was just like, yeah. Is this your family? He was like, does it look like it's my family? And I was like, oh, I don't know. So now this gentleman ate this lime like it was his last meal, because he took a lime too and ate everything off of this lime. I was like, oh, that's what kind of tipped me off that maybe he's homeless or maybe he's hungry. I don't know, whatever. So I felt absolutely no fear from this man. I felt absolutely no fear of this man. I was just like, I'm going to respect him. I'm going to show him respect. That's it. And eventually, guess what? After about maybe 10 minutes, he got up and he left. He touched my shoulders. He was like, all right, it was so good to meet you. Pinched my shoulders, and then he was gone. I'm not going to fear any black man in America because I know what has gone on with our history. I know the picture that has been painted of them. I know that there is a whole nation of people who look like them that's programmed against them. I know that there's a whole nation of people who look like them, who's programmed against them, that raised them. I know that too. So I have to understand that just because he's black, I know how many things have happened to him in his lifetime. I know that he gets pulled over by the police at will. I know that his mother may have hollered and screamed and hit him. I know that he's followed around stores. I know that he is assumed to be guilty, never presumed innocent. That's what I know about any man that I see that's black. So anytime I see a man that is black, I always show them respect. But I'm very concerned that many of us watch television, think that television is correct, don't even understand that television is programming us. Nobody we're losing compassion because we're being programmed to be tough. Thank you so much, beautiful. Thank you so much. We're losing compassion and we're losing touch with reality. If we weren't losing touch with reality, then so many women would not be walking around wearing fake lashes and fake hair. I'm not coming for anybody who's wearing, fake hair for medical purposes. I understand that. But the majority of women have hair and they need to stop with these real wigs. Wigs and lashes. Once again, with a nasty smile, with no smile on her face. Once again. We have to understand that we're being programmed and that it has been going on since basically the Great Depression. It's been going on for hundreds of years, but in particular, we have been programmed very succinctly since about after the Great Depression. After the Great Depression occurred, they started doing research on how to program the masses. And as Black people, we are in particularly vulnerable to programming because we are an unprotected people inside of this nation. So it leaves us very open to toxic information, and us accepting that as a fact. If you've constantly being whipped, right? Somebody's whipping you. I want us to have this picture. You're constantly being whipped and the skin is open, the skin is bruised, the skin is abrased. Anything that you lay on top of that is going to be very easily injected into the body. If I have poison that I put on the outside of somebody's open wound, guess what? That poison is going to get to them very fast. Versus if their skin was, available to protect them. It's not. It's open and it's raw. My suggestion at this point is that the movies, the entertainment, the storylines, the plots, I like Tyler Perry. I get it. He's, making money, but also he's making all this money giving us the most vile storylines in the world. He's giving us the most vile storylines in the world. All the slave movies are reminders that you are inferior and there's another culture that is superior. And they're constantly putting in our heads and in our minds and in our hearts that we were oppressed, slaves, rising up in spite of and all this. No, that's not who we are. So why is that the movies, or why is that the narrative that's coming out? That doesn't make any sense. We don't come from slaves, so why do they keep showing us slave movies? We're not slaves. Why do they keep showing us this picture? Don't show me Harriet, the movie Harriet. Show me the movie of when the slaves revolted and killed everybody and turned up their own town and were successful. Show me that story. Show me that story. Show me the story of the slave ships that were overthrown or overturned. Show me that story. Show me the story of how I lived before I even hit America. Show me that story. Stop showing me the story of where my ancestors got put down, where my ancestors got beat over the head, where my ancestors were killed, where my ancestors were raped. Stop showing me that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that anymore. Stop showing me these stories where women are getting beat up and abused and she's black and she's taking all this abuse. I don't want to see that. Because that's not me. That's not me. That might be y'all, but that's not me. I am African blooded. Show me that. But see, that's not, we have to remember who owns the movie studios, who owns the production companies, who owns the television stations, who owns HBO, who owns these entities. And if you get lost, I suggest you trace your scars. If you get lost, trace your scars. And if you are black in America, it is to be African with no memory of who you are. And now they're giving us memories of who we are. They're literally giving us memories when they're giving us television shows. They're giving you memories when they're giving you movies like The Color Purple. So now when we're like, how come the relationships don't last the way they used to? Because these men were beating up these women and the women couldn't work. No, that's a lie from the pits of hell. Who told you that? The television told you that. Maybe the reality of certain families, that's the reality. But I'm sitting here thinking, I talked to my mother this weekend, and you know what I found out? That I actually come from 4 to 5 generations of marriage. I come from 4 or 5 generations of solid marriage. where death parted them. No wonder the grace and tradition was retained enough for me to get it. So that when someone is telling me how things are supposed to be, I can look back at my family and be like, oh, it all makes sense now. Okay, I get it. But if you are replacing your family history, your family lineage, talking to your grandpeople, talking to your old folks, and then instead of talking to them and getting the story, you're talking to the movie screen, watching the movie screen, letting that give you your memories. Of course, you're going to sit up here and think that the black man is a degenerate. I would think he was too if I was watching the television. But my reality and what the TV is saying, two totally different things. Two totally different things. There are not too many people that haven't seen The Color Purple. There are not too many people that have not seen The Color Purple. Don't let television make your memories. I would encourage people. And this is the other thing. If you're following me and you watch television, then you're not going to get the majority of what I'm saying because you're watching the idiot box. Only the people who know that they're watching TV know that they're watching TV. But I'm not watching TV. My opinions come from my own mind. I would suggest turning off the television and then seeing how you feel. I would highly suggest that. Try it for a day, then try for 2 days, then try for a week, then try for 2 weeks, then try for a month, and then try for 6 months. Go without the television, fast from the television, and then tell me how you feel. You'll begin to notice that other people are on a script. Everyone who watches TV is on a script, on social media and in person. They're on a script. They're on a script. They're on the television script, but they are totally unaware. Totally unaware. If you don't watch television, and when you don't watch television, you'll literally see the script of everybody. You'll see the script of everybody. You'll see how everybody's on the same program, so to speak. But it's called television programming for a reason. They're channeling something to you. The Color Purple is not real. The reason why I think Oprah was in The Color Purple. This should let you know. Oprah's personal story is complete dysfunction. So, of course, to her, that story makes sense because that's her family history. That is her family history. But there are so many of us who had strong, protective, nurturing families where you did not have to worry about being molested, where you did not have to worry about someone beating the women in the family, where men were strong, where men were providers, where the women were gentle and sweet and educated. There were so many women like that. There were so many men like that. There were so many families like that. Why are we defaulting to The Color Purple? Why are we defaulting to the storyline of The Color Purple? We need to figure that out. We seriously need to figure that out. Turning off the television will really assist. Oh, I only watch a little bit. Even a little bit. You're zoning out, letting images go in front of your eyes and into your head and into your heart and into your mind because you're mindlessly watching TV. They're putting things into you. You're not putting things into the television. If the television was not influencing people, then why are the women looking like the television? All women look the same. And all women are starting to look like the Real Housewives. They're starting to look like Married to Medicine. They're starting to look like Love and Hip Hop. They're dressing like prostitutes. They are acting like prostitutes. Where are they getting this from? Where are the women getting it from? Where are the men? Now everyone's wearing tight pants, singing songs. Like, where are we getting it from? What you think that somebody just woke up and said, I need a 24-inch wig made with the lace front? Who just woke up and said they needed that? Nobody. Our little baby girls are out here dressing like Horton Hears a Who with these neon wigs, and it's getting crazy. Braless bodysuits, like stripper heels. I mean, the television is the television. Don't let the television be your programming. The color purple is not our reality. Don't let these people give this to you. Don't let that be your story. Don't let that be your history. That's not your history. That is a sick woman. That is a sick story that they used to program generations of people. It's not real. And if that is your family history, I'm sorry, learn a better way. Don't repeat what they were doing. Do the opposite of whatever your family did. If that's your family history, I apologize, and I'm not trying to be callous. If that's truly your family history, whatever they did, you need to be doing the exact opposite. Like, literally the exact opposite of that. So, anyway, I hope you guys have a good morning. I have to hit the bank. I have to do a couple of things out in these city streets. Remember to be compassionate of each other. Please remember to think about each other. Please remember to love each other. Please be gentle with each other. Please. If you run, good morning, beautiful. If you're running into someone who's having a bad day, please remember that they are having a very hard day and that they need someone to be compassionate with them so that they know what to do when they reach the next person that they encounter. You know, a smile goes a long way. A long way. Thank you, Mr. Brown. I'm just trying to do my due diligence. I'm just volunteering my brain. Just volunteering my brain, you know? So that was the conclusion of my birthday weekend. Aquarius is is it Aquarii? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to make that plural. But Aquarius, we are pretty, most of us. Y'all have a great Monday.